5698-A, case against the Big Bang, or for the Big Bang, whichever it is not. We will have our opening arguments now, beginning with Ms. Truth. Ms. Truth, you may begin.
Thank you, Your Honor. Today, the Big Bang is on trial. The Big Bang would have you believe that it exploded and created all of us that are here today. We will show you today how preposterous that is. The Big Bang is nothing more than a bunch of talk. There's no substance to it. Thank you.
Mr. Slickster, you may make your opening statement.
Thank you, Your Honor. Well, as you just heard Ms. Truth say, she would have you believe that the Big Bang is preposterous. She would have you believe that the Big Bang is nothing but smoke and mirrors, myth and fairy tales. But I will tell you, if you do believe that, then you stand against 95% of the scientific community. The greatest minds in the world will stand against you and say you are wrong. And I am here today to present a very clear and a very concise and simple case to show you, beyond any shadow of a reasonable doubt, the Big Bang is 100% true. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Slickster. And you may now call your first witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would like to call Miss Susie Spacebrain. Stand, please.
Bailiff, will you please swear in Miss Spacebrain?
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, the whole truth?
I do.
Please state your name and occupation for the court.
My name is Susie Spacebrain. I'm sorry, what was that other part of your question?
Your occupation. Your name and your occupation.
Oh yeah, my name is Susie Spacebrain and I'm an astronomer.
And what exactly do you do as an astronomer?
Well, my day usually starts around 7:55 a.m. When my alarm goes off, I get up after hitting snooze one time. I walk somewhat briskly to the bathroom where I...
No. See, no, I'm not really asking for, every single minute of your day. We don't need all those details. I just mean, what do you do in your job as an astronomer? What is your job?
Oh, sorry about that. I guess I don't think you need me to hear about my entire daily.
Certainly not.
Just, what I do as an astronomer. Well, that begins around 9:02 a.m. because I'm sometimes 2 minutes late. I just can't get my hair right in the mornings. So then I get to work.
Oh, no. Space cadet. I don't want all the details of every single thing that you do at work. Please, just what is your job function? What does an astronomer study?
Oh, okay, no details, just the basic function.
Right, no details. We don't need all that. Just basic function.
Okay, well, as an astronomer, I study outer space.
You could be a little more specific than that.
Oh, okay. I just don't want to do anything wrong. Okay, I study the origin of the universe.
Fine. Is all of this testimony going to be this difficult, Miss Spacebrain?
I'm not sure I know the answer to that. But I'm an astronomer, I study outer space.
Never mind. Miss Spacebrain, please tell the court how long you've been studying the origins of the universe.
That depends. Do you count the time that I spent as a kid watching Star Trek? If so, then I've been studying the origins of time and space for the equivalent of 435 years.
How is that even possible? I mean, you're certainly not any older than 35. How is that even possible? You could have 435 years of experience.
Well, I started watching Star Trek when I was 3 years old. I have watched every single episode for 37 times. And so that's the equivalent of 420 years. Then if you add 15 years that I have studied on the Earth as an Earthlin, and that's how I get 435 years experience.
Sounds good to me. So in your vast study of the origins of the universe, have you come up with any ideas about how the universe began?
Yes.
And?
Well, the idea that seems most logical and scientific to me is this. I believe that the entire universe was created 200 billion years ago as part of an ultra-Clydonic experiment conducted by Spokantrians, Gamma, Quadrants, most sinister scientist Clyden. I believe his experiments got out of control and vaporized the entire populations of Fictitians, which one deadly blast of Rosamia ray melter, which, when the Spartian people heard about the senseless vaporization of...
Objection, Your Honor, this is pure nonsense.
You can't object to your own witness. The only way her testimony can be stricken is a mistruth, which is to object. Do you wish to object?
Oh, no. This is very interesting. Please go on. I want to hear more of this theory.
You may proceed, Mrs. Green.
Great. I was just getting to the good part.
Oh, Miss Space Brain, please, this sounds fascinating, but is this the only theory you have about the origins of the universe?
Actually, no.
Could you please tell us about your other theories?
Okay. My second theory is not near as exciting as the first one. To be honest, I am sure that it is as believable as my first theory.
Well, let us be the judge of that. What is your second theory?
Well, I call it the Big Bang Theory.
Okay, and what does the Big Bang Theory say about the origins of the universe?
It says everything started with a Big Bang.
And this is the theory that you say you believe, right?
Well, yes, I guess so. I'm sure that, one of my two theories are correct.
Well, would you say that most scientists would agree with your Big Bang Theory?
Actually, yes.
No further questions.
All right, Miss Truth, you may cross-examine.
Thank you, Your Honor. Miss Space Brain, with a name like that, it seems you have stepped into your destiny with career choices.
Yeah, my mama always says I was the biggest space cadet she had ever seen. And I knew I would do something great with my life.
So earlier you said you had two theories about the origin of the universe?
Yes.
And so you told us a little about your first theory with the Sparkanitrons, Sparkanitions, Judicans, right? Now would you tell us a little about your first theory a little more?
Yeah, the senseless destruction by the evil fighter.
Yeah, I'd love to hear about that sometime.
Well, who wouldn't? That's why I wrote it all down, and you can buy it on the internet. It's called Our Universe, the Mutant Product of Great Spartian Revolt.
Okay, sounds fascinating. The other theory that you talked about, the Big Bang, right? Do you believe one of these theories to be more true than the other?
Objection, Your Honor, I hardly say how it's relevant to know what Miss Space Brain thinks is the correct theory about the origins.
You're kidding, right? Her whole testimony is whether or not she thinks it is correct or not.
So which theory do you think is more likely to have happened?
Well, I am certain that theory about the Sparticians makes more sense. The Big Bang is just hard to believe. I think some Spartician theory is much more believable.
I agree your Spartician theory is just as easy to believe as the Big Bang. No further questions.
You may sit down, Miss Space Brain. Ms. Slitzker, you may call your next witness.
Yeah, I'd like to call Vanavision to the stand, please.
Please swear in the witness.
I do.
Please state your name and occupation for the court.
My name is Vanna Vision, and my occupation is specializing in predicting the future.
So, you can predict the future.
I can. I knew you were going to say that.
Really?
Yes.
Wow, you are gifted.
I know. And your next question, by the way, the answer to your next question is because I am gifted.
But how could you know that? Oh, because I'm gifted.
See, I told you so.
She's really good. I'm impressed.
Thank
So let me ask you this. How long have you been aware of your gift?
Well, the first time I realized I had this gift was when I was a kid. I was climbing up a tree, and I was trying to go as close to the top as I could. I got near the top, and I looked down. I got a little scared because I was up so high. I closed my eyes, and that's when I saw my first vision.
And what did you see in your vision?
I saw darkness, just black. Yeah, it was almost like I was blind. But it was then that I knew I was seeing the future.
Objection, Your Honor! All she was seeing was the backs of her eyelids.
I see your point, Miss True, but you can't really object to her answer. She thought she was seeing the future, that's her opinion.
I knew you were going to say that. The reason I say I was seeing the future is because right after I fell, I was unconscious for 3 hours.
Wow. Clearly that darkness you were seeing was the future. That's amazing. Do you have any other examples where you were able to use your gift and predict the future?
Absolutely. And I bet you want me to tell you about it, don't you?
Wow, you really are good. Please tell us about it.
Okay. The other example I want to tell you about was when I was 18 years old. I pulled up to a red light, and I closed my eyes, and I got scared for a second because I thought I was going to fall out of a tree again. But then I realized I was in my car, and I was safe. So after that, I closed my eyes again, and I saw a vision of a red pickup truck crossing right in front of me. Then 3 weeks later, I was at the same light, and a red pickup truck passed by me. I mean,
Truly amazing. Obviously, you are incredibly gifted and can predict the future. Guys, this is incredible. We are so fortunate to have this vision here this morning. So my next question is, you have this ability to predict the future, have visions of the future. Are you able also to have visions or perhaps travel into the past?
oh sure, I'm so gifted that I can pretty much travel back and forward in time as often as I like.
Oh, that is excellent. That is going to really help us today. Get to the bottom of this Big Bang Theory. It shouldn't be called a theory, really. It's a fact. But what I would like for you to do now is close your eyes, and we're going to try to let you have a vision of the origin of the universe. Do you think you can do that for us?
Oh, certainly.
Okay. Go ahead and close your eyes, and I want you to try to have a vision of the beginning of the universe. Are you there yet?
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Okay, there we are. I'm seeing a vision of the beginning of the universe.
Now, please tell us, what are you seeing? What is it that you see?
I see nothing. It's just nothing. I mean, it's just darkness. It's like nothing. Oh no! Am I falling out of a tree again?
No, calm down. It's okay, it's okay. Remember, you're seeing the past,
Oh yeah.
not the future.
Thanks for reminding me. Oh.
Now, let's go back to your vision. At the beginning of the universe, what you see is nothing, right?
Yes.
Your Honor, I would like to admit into evidence Exhibit A. Miss Truth, would you please hand me Exhibit A?
Oh boy, this should be good.
Actually, it's that. Thank you so very much. Your Honor, I would like to read from Exhibit A, which is a science textbook. I am turning to page 125. And I will read to you what this says about the origins of the universe. It says, according to the Big Bang Theory, the entire universe started out as nothing. Now, Miss Vision, what is it that you're seeing again?
Nothing. Just darkness. Almost like when you close your eyes.
Just like what the textbook says you would see at the beginning. Now, what I need for you to do is concentrate. Pay no attention to my reflector. Please tell the court what you're seeing now.
It's getting brighter. Almost like there's a light shining on me.
Your Honor, I would like to read from page 202 now. from this textbook, Exhibit A. It says, according to the Big Bang, nothing exploded. Now, Miss Vision just said that she saw nothing at the beginning. And then she said she was beginning to see light. Now, I don't know about you, but that sounds to me like the Big Bang is just starting to happen. Light is coming, the Big Bang is happening, and Miss Vision just saw it for us. I have no further questions.
Thank you, Your Honor. Miss Vision, please keep your eyes open now and join us back in the present. You say that you're able to have a vision, predict the future just by closing your eyes?
Yep.
So, all right, now can I get you to close your eyes again?
Oh no! Am I gonna fall off a tree again?
Calm down. You're not gonna fall out of a tree. You're not in a tree. What I want you to do is to predict my next question.
Okay, certainly. You are going to ask me a question that is going to require me to give an answer.
I think just about anyone could have predicted that. Actually, I'm going to ask you about the lottery. It seems that someone with your ability would be able to predict the future, and you could use that skill to play the lottery and win lots of money. You could become very rich. Have you ever tried that?
Of course not. With my gift of seeing the future, that would be cheating. I would never do that.
Your Honor, I would like to introduce you to evidence Exhibit B. Miss Vision, do you recognize this box?
Of course, that is my shoebox from my house.
And when I look at this shoebox from your house, you did say it's from your house,
Yes.
and it belongs to you.
Yes.
And so when I open this box, what do I find? Hundreds of lottery tickets with your name on them. Are they your lottery tickets?
I don't want to answer that question because I can foresee that I'm going to be in big trouble for lying.
Oh, you're right for once, Miss Vision. You have just successfully predicted the future because you are in big trouble for lying. Lying on the witness stand is a crime. Your Honor, I move that this witness be held in contempt of court and her entire testimony be stricken from the record.
I agree. Bailiff, please take the witness into custody.
Oh no, Judge, what's going to happen to me?
You're the one who can supposedly predict the future, and you tell us what's going to happen to you.
Oh no, I'm going to fall off a tree again!
Thank you, Your Honor.
Mr. Slickster, do you have any additional witnesses?
Yes, Your Honor. I would like to now call to the stand Dr. Peter Paul Pompous III.
Bailiff, will you please swear in the witness?
Well, perhaps peradventure I propose this tapestry is true. No, perhaps.
Please state your name and occupation for the court.
I am Peter Paul Pompous III, and professionally my profession is particularly precise, professor at Princeton.
And how long have you been a professor?
Well, Princeton picked me as a professor, and £10 in personnel, and paycheck and paperwork, personally precisely 18 years ago.
So, 18 years as a professor.
Precisely.
Okay. In your 18 years as a professor at Princeton, have you studied and taught on the subject of the Big Bang Theory?
Please. Princeton pays me to pontificate, postulate, ponder, and present my pupils with perfectly prepared papers and presentations to prepare them to perfectly plan the predictions of our periods of prehistory.
Is that a yes? You do teach the Big Bang Theory?
Precisely.
Okay. So now, do you personally believe the Big Bang Theory to be true?
Precisely. It's a perfect picture, pieces of patented scientific procedure.
So that's a yes.
Yeah, precisely.
Okay. Now, since you're a university professor, isn't it widely known that everything you teach is true? As is true of all university professors?
Or perhaps some puny-brained people would opine in opposition, questions and opinions, but pandering puny people's penances for very contemptuous puts progress in prison.
Huh?
False.
What?
Absolutely.
What I heard was anything a university professor teaches is truth. And anyone that disagrees with it is puny-brained and stupid. I think that's what he said.
Perfectly and precisely put, thank you.
No further questions, Your Honor. He's making my head hurt.
Oh, thank you, Your Honor. Dr. Pompous.
Yes?
Dr. Pompous III, that is, take some time to tell us about trying to teach at Princeton.
If you would please pay particular attention to the paperwork prior to posing pre-postulated positions and phrases, pronounce my name precisely. It's Mr. Pompous III, if you would, please.
Dr. Peter Pan Pompous III, please tell us about Princeton. After I finish my sentence, tell us about your tenure at Princeton.
Precisely. At Princeton promises professors pay raises and plentiful profits to pressure us to perform perfectly. Princeton pushed me to tenure precisely prior to penning my paper printed in Professor's Guide to Prehistory. I am pleased to announce the Professor Board with plentiful paragraphs pointing to prove the Big Bang.
I'm sorry, to translate what that meant, did you just say that Princeton told you to try to prove the Big Bang Theory in order to guarantee tenure?
Precisely, yes.
So, if you told anyone you didn't believe in the Big Bang, would you have gotten tenure?
Oh, preposterous. Please, perish that preposterous postulation. Princeton would never provide tenure to professors pronouncing poor pronouncements concerning the Big Bang.
So what you're saying is, if you didn't believe in the Big Bang Theory, you would lose your job?
Precisely. Pretty powerful piece of postulation here, prosecutor.
Your Honor, I move that this man's entire testimony be stricken. He is clearly biased because if he did not say he believed in the Big Bang, he would lose his job.
Abstain. Dr. Pompous III's testimony will be stricken from the record because he is a biased witness. Mr. Slickster, do you have any further witnesses?
Your Honor, if you strike his testimony, all I have left is a space cadet that believes in the Sparkanatron revolt.
I'm sorry, Mr. Slickster, that's not my problem.
No further questions.
Witnesses?
Ms. Truth, you may call your first witness.
I'm all friends.
Thank you, Your Honor. I would like to call Dr. Ellen McMillan to the stand.
May I please swear in the witness?
Dr. McMillan, please state your name and occupation for the court.
My name is Dr. Ellen McMillan, and I'm an astrophysicist.
So what does an astrophysicist study?
Well, most of the time we have studied in the field of outer space on the origin of the universe.
So I guess in your studies, you've come across quite a few interesting theories about how the universe began.
Up until today, I thought that I had heard it all. To my amazement, this is the first time I have actually heard the Spartan revolve theory.
Ah, yes, Miss
That's a new one to
Spaceway.
me.
She came up with some good ones. I'm quite sure that that's a new one on just about everybody. So, Dr. McMillan, are you familiar with the Big Bang Theory?
Yes, quite familiar with it.
And why are you so familiar with it?
Because it is commonly thought as true throughout all of the level of education, and I had to learn about that ludicrous theory while I was in school.
Ludicrous theory. I take it you don't believe in the Big Bang Theory?
Correct.
I see.
There is not one shred of scientific evidence that even comes close to prove that the Big Bang is even possible, much less that it happened. that astronomer that was on the stand earlier.
Yeah, Miss Spaceberg.
Oh, yeah. Yes, that's him. That's her. I have agreed with him. As ridiculous as Spartan revolve theory is more believable than the Big Bang.
I agree. As ridiculous as that theory is, it does make a lot more sense than the Big Bang theory. So if there's so little evidence for the Big Bang, why is it so commonly taught?
Well, because scientists doesn't have an alternative. If they acknowledge that God made the universe, then that makes them accountable to God, and they don't have that.
So how do you think the universe got here?
Well, read Genesis 1 and you will have your answer. The only thing that makes sense is that an incredible, intelligent, all-power God did this.
Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Slickster, you may cross-examine.
Dr. McMillan, if that is your real name.
I beg your pardon? Why wouldn't that be my real name?
Listen here, Dr. Laser Brain.
Mr. Slickster.
Sorry, Judge. Maybe you haven't figured it out, but this is a courtroom. I'll be the one asking the questions here, and Dr. McMillan, you will be the one giving me the answers that I want. Where do you teach astrophysics at?
I never said I was a teacher.
Ah, Your Honor. I move to have that last question stricken from the record. Kind of makes it look like I wasn't really paying attention.
Just get on with it.
Dr. McMillan, how long did you have to study to become a doctor?
Altogether, I have studied about 12 years at the university level.
Well, maybe I should just call you Dr. Smartypants.
How about just call me Dr. Markel?
Do you think of yourself as a pretty smart gal, huh, Dr. Smartypants?
Objection.
Well, I worked extremely hard in school and have continued to study and learn science completely.
Look, Dr.
myself.
Smartypants, all I need is a simple yes or no.
Then yes, I do consider myself as very intelligent.
And your testimony today is only credible because you are such an intelligent individual, right?
Well, yes, I guess you could say it that way.
Your Honor, I would like to introduce into evidence Exhibit C, a photograph. Dr. McMillan, please have a look at this photograph. Do you recognize anyone in this photograph?
Of course, that's me, that photograph.
And do you notice anything wrong
No,
with this photograph?
no.
Okay, let's see how smart you really are, Dr. Smartypants. Look at the right foot. Do you see anything wrong with your right foot?
Oh, I see, but that's not the right foot, that's the left foot.
Oh, excuse me, that's right. I was testing you. So what is wrong with your left foot?
My shoes is undone.
Ha! Isn't that something? Our incredibly intelligent astrophysicist, Dr. Smartypants, is walking around with her shoes untied. Now, if she's so smart, why in the world can't she tie her own shoes? Dr. Smartypants, your credibility is shot. Judge, I move that we have this testimony stricken. I mean, she's not as smart as she thinks she is.
You may step down, Dr. McMillan. And by the way, Mr. Slickster, I think your shoe's coming untied. Miss Truth, you may call your next witness.
Thank you, Your Honor. I'll call my next witness while Mr. Slickster ties his shoes. I would like to call Bob the Builder.
Can... Oh, sorry.
Yes, he can. Mr. the Builder, please state your name and occupation for the court.
I'm Bob the Builder, and I build and fix things.
So, does that mean that you work in construction?
That's because I've been in construction all my life.
And exactly how long is that?
About 3 years.
30 years? You look great. Wow. So I guess you've been around a lot of construction projects and stuff in those 30 years. You must wear sunscreen.
Yes.
About the sunscreen or the construction? Construction. Yeah. So would you say you've seen just about every method that exists to build something?
Yes, ma'am, I've often been I am very familiar with every single way there is to build things.
Okay. So I have a question that's going to seem ridiculous, but I'm going to ask it anyway because I have to. So here goes. Have you ever built anything by blowing it up?
I don't think I understand your question.
Okay. I want to know if you've ever built anything by blowing it up.
I would have to say no. I don't remember ever building anything by blowing it up.
But like, what if you were way behind on a project? Like, say you were building a house, and you needed to build a house in the next 15 minutes. And so, couldn't you just take all the materials and put them into a big pile and get some dynamite and light it and blow up the big pile and build a house? I mean, the Big Bang Theory says that that's how the entire universe came into existence. So why couldn't you just do that to build a simple little house?
I'm sorry, ma'am, that's just ridiculous. Whoever told you that you could build a house by blowing it up is whack.
Okay.
And if someone believes the universe is built like that, you need help.
Thank you. I agree. No further questions.
Mr. Slickster, you may cross-examine.
Glad. Mr. the Builder. Don't you have a motto? Some kind of a catchphrase for your construction business?
Well, yes, I do.
And how does it go?
Well, it starts with someone asking, can he build it? And then I respond saying, yes, he can.
Ah, I get it. That's pretty cute. Why don't we try it? Let's try it. Can he build it?
Yes, he can.
Ha ha ha. Can he build it?
Yes, he can.
Can he build it?
Yes, he can.
Can he build it?
Yes, he can.
Can he build it? Can he build it?
Yes, we can.
Can the Big Bang build the universe? Yes, he can. You see that, folks? He said, yes, he can. I asked him about the Big Bang building the universe. Here we have a construction expert that said the universe could clearly be built by the Big Bang. No further questions.
Enough trickery, Mr. Slickster. You may step down, Mr. the Builder. Thank you. Call your next witness, Ms. Truth.
I would like to call Danny Destructo to the stand. I like this witness. This witness is kind of cute.
That's right. Whatever you're saying. Look. Have a seat now.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Mr. Destructo, can you please tell the court the name and occupation?
That's right. My name is Danny Disrupto, and I like to blow things up. I'm a demolitionist.
A demolitionist. So a demolitionist is what exactly?
That's what I was saying. I blow things up.
Oh,
Boom.
how did you get into that? How does someone get into the
Objection,
line
Your
of
Honor.
work?
He's making terroristic threats. It's assault, Judge.
Okay, Mr. Destructo, how does someone get into the line of work where you get to blow things up?
Well, it's a very fascinating story, all right? So I was about 8 years old, and my sister, she's always crazy playing with all these Barbie dolls, right? And so I walk in, and she's got my G.I. Joe playing Tea Party. Why, but went through the roof. Went to my room, and I got all my fireworks, right? And I stuck it under the Barbie house, and I blew it through the roof. And it was so much fun that I started putting flyers all over the neighborhood and advertising, right? So then I'd go to the neighbors' houses and blow their stuff up. And it was so much fun. One time it even got stuck in the tree. And I think the other witness was in the tree too. Anyway, maybe that's how she got so scared. But that's what I've been doing ever since then, blowing stuff up. That's what I do.
And so, I assume you also blow up actual houses. When did you start blowing up actual houses and not just Barbie houses?
Oh, about 10 years ago.
How old are you now?
I'm 45, right?
Okay, so, all right, 10 years ago, so you blew up Barbie houses until you were 35 years old?
Well, see, I started blowing up real houses when I was 35. But actually, I've been doing the Barbie thing, blowing it up ever since. So I never really quit.
Okay, so you still blow up Barbie houses? You know what, never mind. Forget the Barbie houses. In your 10 years of blowing up real buildings, how many total buildings have you destroyed?
1, 2, 3, 5,000.
5,000?
Right.
That's like 500 a year. That's like 2 a day.
What can I say? I really love what I do, right?
Okay, well, in those 5,000 buildings that you've blown up, have you ever seen the explosion create a new building?
All right, let me see if I understand this right. You mean I put my dynamite on the building, and everything blows up and goes in the air, and suddenly everything comes back down and forms a new building? Right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I mean. How many times have you seen that happen?
Well, that would be 0. That's impossible. I think this line of questioning is kind of absurd. It's never going to happen.
It would be absurd, wouldn't it? I mean, and yet that's what the Big Bang says happened. 16 billion years ago, nothing exploded, and then somehow everything that exists today formed as a result of the explosion of nothing. How absurd. No further questions.
You may cross-examine, Mr. Slickster.
First of all, I need to just say something to you, Mr. Structo. I don't appreciate what you did to me.
What are you talking about?
Well, you said you blew up Barbie doll houses, but I think you're lying. Because 28 years ago, I got a Ken house that went missing. I never knew what happened to it, but now I think I have a pretty good idea.
That was you. That was one of my favorites. That was great. I got a call from a kid who said they saw a boy playing with a Barbie doll house.
It wasn't a Barbie house, it was a Ken house.
Well, whatever. It still looked like a Barbie house to me, and I had a blast. No pun intended.
Stop it, you evil, vindictive man! Your Honor, I don't know if I can continue. This is a very difficult emotional subject for me.
Grow up, Mr. Slickster.
Mr. Demolisher of all that is good, you say you blow things up for a living, right?
That's right, Mr. Ken.
Don't call me that. Honor, make him stop. I haven't owned a Ken doll house for at least 3 years, so you need to stop it. Now, Mr. Death, in all those things you have blown up, you say they have never formed anything new.
That's right.
What happens when you blow up a building?
Well, that's a tough question. Well, it just goes boom. Falls over.
Aha! I knew it. This man is a liar. It falls! And what happens when it falls? Where does it go?
Down. Makes a big pile of rubble, you know? You ever seen that before?
A gigantic pile of rubble. Now, what was there before the gigantic pile of rubble?
Well, remember, we were saying we blew up the building. So before,
building. A building. And after the explosion?
Rubble. Big pile of rubble.
It sounds to me like that explosion did make something new. First there was a building, and now where the building is, there is a gigantic pile of rubble. Just like the Big Bang teaches us. First there was nothing, nothing exploded. Suddenly we have the entire universe where nothing used to be. No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you, Mr. Slickster. You may begin with your closing arguments. Mr. Slickster will be going first.
Your Honor, it's difficult for me to compose my thoughts at this moment. I'm full of emotion. Finding out the man had ruined my childhood. Your Honor, I don't know that I really need closing arguments. I think this case is a slam dunk. Clearly, the Big Bang is truth. And anyone in here that does not agree with it, the problem is not that the scientific facts don't support it, because they do. The problem is that you're just not smart enough to understand it. You're just not smart enough to comprehend and understand how nothing can explode. And then that nothing can suddenly form everything. If you don't understand it, it's because you're a puny brain. But that doesn't mean it's not true. Folks, the clear science tells us the Big Bang happened, and to disagree with that is just plain foolish.
Mr. Slickster stood up and told you that the Big Bang is clearly true, and if you don't believe it, you have a puny brain. I'll ask you, who has the puny brain? He almost couldn't formulate a closing argument because he's still stuck on his Barbie house.
It was a kid house.
He was a kid.
It was a kid house.
Whatever, it was a doll house. Who has the puny brain? I could stand up here and tell you witness after witness and go back through their testimony about clearly how they proved that the Big Bang is not true. But let's just review what came out of Mr. Slickster's mouth himself. He read from the textbook, according to the Big Bang theory, nothing exploded. That's correct. Nothing exploded. There was no explosion. Nothing exploded.
Wait a minute.
Because there's no Big Bang. It didn't happen. What did happen is that God created us. God created the earth. I leave it to you, ladies and gentlemen.
Jury will now deliberate and decide whose favor they are ruling in. Has the jury decided? What is your verdict? Oh, very good. The jury is in favor of this truth.
Thank you, thank you.
Somehow we got a puny brain jury.